It's Mr. Trill Talk, no pill talk. In here with 106.9 The Blaze, DJ Juice. What's good?
What up with it?
What's good, man? So, man, DJ Juice, man, you come way from Atlanta, man, from way out there in Georgia, man. How did that happen, man?
Man, real talk. My mother, she had lupus, so when she got diagnosed with lupus, I wanted to be like closer to her or whatnot. So she was in Tyler, so I moved to Tyler. Didn't move in with her because I don't believe in that because I'm a grown man. But you know what I'm saying. So moved to East Texas. And that's
recent
how
history.
I'm here. Yeah, but
So-
she good. So like,
So how did you get into the radio business? Like, was that something you planned on doing at first, or just?
Nah, not for real. Like, I remember telling my pops, like, when I was little, like, yo, pops, I want to be on the radio. Because I would listen to, like, 97.9 in Atlanta, which is, like, Hot 107 or whatnot. And I'd be like, man, he's like, nah, like, shut up and, like, focus. Not on hooping or whatnot. But when I got out here, I was hanging around Lester's Ice. And basically, he gave me, like, I kind of learned the game from him. Then shoot, he gave me a little way in, and then I took that and kind of built on that.
Okay. So, man, like, so that's how you got it. Like, I see you have like a big college crowd. Like, I didn't notice that. Like, some of your porters used to have, like, back in the day, you used to have like college crowds.
Man,
Like, how did that come about? Like,
nah, I mean, I remember. Shout out to the Qs, you know. Sure, really, man, just being active. You know, when you're in the streets in the community all the time, like, you know who poppin', you know what's going on. So I'm in the college scene, so of course I'm hanging with my frat, and we throwing parties, doing little rules, kickbacks and whatnot. And then sure, like really those parties took off for me first, and then I mean we went from little parties where we had like 100 people to like having like 1,400, 2,000 people. So we was just, you know what I'm saying, doing this.
so being an East Texas DJ, man, I know it come with a lot of stress, man. I can just imagine. I get a lot of stress, man. I know it come with a lot of stress from like the artists, like, man, bugging you, man. Like, what's the correct way to come at DJ Juice if you trying to get some music played, or trying to let if they want you to hear that music?
Well, stress is just the wrong word. I don't get stressed behind none of this shit. But if you want to submit your music, TexasHomegrown@gmail. Texas, spell it all the way out. Homegrown@gmail. Clean, dirty, instrumental, acapella. Make sure that you're registered with MediaBase, which is to make sure that you get credit for your spins. And that's all I ask for. You send your music in, and if it jams, it get played. If it don't jam, then it ain't gonna get played. Well, I might play it still. It just depends on what kind of day it is.
So, I mean, how often do you get music? Like, people running up to you or just coming up to you, inboxing you like, man, hey, can I play? How often you get that?
I get music all the time. I think like every second of the day I get music. Like whether or not it's from like a record label who pushing a particular artist, one of the artists who popping now, to my partners in Atlanta sending me music, to Texas Homegrown music, to being on Clubhouse, and people from the UK sending music. Like I get music like all the time.
Okay, so, man, I know Smitty had mentioned that y'all kind of have like some business going on right now. Like, you kind of mentioned her, you and Sergeant B. Like, how did they come about? Like, how did they come about? Like, you working with Smitty?
Man, it's really like I say like family guidance. I ain't gonna lie. Like at first, I was like, nah, I ain't really want to get into like all the music stuff because I just knew what came with it. But then she went. Did what she was supposed to do, and she came back with a product, and she was like, look, I'm really on this shit, and I ain't bullshit. And when somebody, like, it's one thing when you send somebody off, and they don't come back, and they just tell you about, oh yeah, I'm doing this, but it's another thing when you send somebody off, and they come back with an actual product, and they come back saying they really own this shit, and they can show you that they're actively trying to do it. And when somebody is that much invested in themselves, then who am I not to turn down that and make sure that, you know, the proper things are met so you can get to the next level.
So you would say it's pretty much a work ethic, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I hate laziness, I hate liars, I hate all that shit. So when I get somebody who gonna really come through, I'm like, yeah. And then, I mean, you see Sergeant B, you see his grind, you see where we at, you see the studio, you see the countless artists who put out the time that he spent, the grind, all of that. So when you incorporate the music with the business, with the grind and the effort, with the brand, with the clothes, with all, once you incorporate all of this, you just mesh it together, because behind every artist, it's gotta be that whole wheel of the brand, the actual music, the marketing. It's gotta be all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about just the music or just this and just that.
So what do you think the most important thing is?
There is no one thing that's more important than the other. I mean, you have to be able to create the music. You have to have the brand, the image. You have to have the promotion. You gotta have all of that. Everything's gotta be behind. You gotta be willing to work. You know, you can't be lazy in this. It's no one thing that outweighs the other. It's all like an even snack. And if you are lacking in one, chances are, shit, that could be the area that shit the motherfucker's looking at that given point of time. So you gotta be ready to, when those situations come and arise, to really jump on that shit and take it to the next level.
Okay, so what do you think it take to break an artist? Like an East Texas artist, what do you think it's gonna take to break an East Texas artist?
Shit, consistency, grind is what everybody always say. But really, man, people get out their own way. Like, ego set aside. Like, artists have to realize if somebody, like, a lot of people talk about riding waves and they say, oh, well, shit, it's wave rider, dick riding when you do this, you do that. Nah, what it's called is building momentum on an artist. So when an artist is hot, people have to embrace and say, damn, this motherfucker's hot. So let's pour into this motherfucker so we can get this person over the hump.
Champion our own.
Yeah, but if you don't do that and you start, and this person get the bubbling in and then you hate on it and then this person fizzles out, then the next motherfucker gonna come, it's gonna be the same shit. So you really have to get behind the motherfucker and let people know, like, hey, I'm rocking with you. And I think if more people would focus on rocking with each other and not that whole competition shit, that's really the downfall of this shit, is everybody's in competition. From the trail ride shit, to the club shit, to the street shit, everybody in competition. And I understand on the street shit, but when it comes to this damn DJ shit, if you're not breaking artists, then you just wasting your time. And shit, I can speak on me. I know how many records I play a week on the radio from artists from East Texas. But what about the same? We ask these other DJs in the clubs, like, y'all doing the same thing? Because I know what I do. I know what Sarge do. You know what I'm saying? It's people I can vouch for that when I go to the club, I hear this shit, and we breaking music actively. So when it comes to the DJ side, the DJ's got to break music. When it comes to the artist side, the artist got to make music that really fucking jam. Like, everything is not meant for the club, yes. But fuck, like, some of this shit just not meant for anywhere. And that's just 1,000. Like, everything ain't good. Well, I ain't gonna say there's no such thing as bad music, because there's always a market for everything. But some of that shit is just not a market for right here, right now. So when it comes to this music game, knowing what you put out is what you're gonna get in. And if you ain't willing to go that extra mile to make that record, it's a lot of people, man, I go through that shit, and I'm like, man, it's your record. But they scared of that record because they know what comes with that record. You can't be scared of it. You gotta really bust your ass and get this shit, man. As being an artist, if you're not out here pushing your shit, you ain't out here grinding like you supposed to be, then you're just gonna get caught on the wayside.
Okay, so man, right now, who would you say what are the artists that you listening to from East Texas right now?
Man, so many. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, like a month and a half ago, my childhood best friend was murdered. Like, so I was listening to, like, Ciroc Knight got a song called Drink the Pain Away.
Yeah.
So I listen to shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Then, you know what I'm saying, when you look with a little chick or something, you know what I'm saying, you might want to put on some LZ, Marco, the Shrew, Lump on the R&B side, you know what I'm saying? That's nice little vibe music. Rapping ass shine. Like, it's so much music. Like, I mean, of course, Smitty, when we in the club, like, I'm banging it. And what's crazy is, like, the white folks in the club, they love Smitty. So shout out to the white people who be shaking that ass when they see that big ass booty. And they ain't got no big booty, but they be making it do what it do. I fuck with that shit. You know what I'm saying? But man, there's so many. DRCR Day, like Remo Primetime did the intro. He got Spectacular Dip out. He got some records. What's that? Luce Ace MAC made me feel like a Mac every time because I'm really like I feel like the original Mac. I just kind of held back, you know, over time. You know